All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. I'll go ahead and call a June 25th Commissioners meeting to order. You have one quick thing before we get started on the agenda. I'd like to really recognize and thank Allison Daniels from Hunter Square, who made these masks for us. So each one of us has a new mask, and from what I'm hearing from everybody, they really fit well and work very well. So just want to recognize Allison Daniels, and Jen, if we could get a card or something, and we'll get something out more formal. But again, thank you very, very much. Additionally, if anyone is calling in, make sure you hit *3 if you want to ask a question, or type your question in if you're doing the virtual one in the box under your name. So with that, I'll go ahead and give any opening remarks from Mr. Jackson.
I don't have any opening remarks.
Okay, then let's go ahead and have Laura come up. Let's talk about the first resolution.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
There's no PowerPoint today. I'm sure you're all a little relieved. You do have in front of you a resolution to approve the FY 2021 budget. We did have a public hearing on June 11th, and then we followed up with the commissioners' work session on June 15th. Neither one of those events came up with any suggestions or comments that would offer the content. So we're asking this morning that you approve the resolution. Are there any questions?
All right, the resolution is right after the agenda. Let's just take a minute to look at it, and then I'll call for a vote.
I am not seeing my agenda, and I only received one document, which I think you all went over, FY 2020 budget and brief table of contents.
You're on the
I'm on the wrong
meeting
one.
of the 11th. Yeah, this is meeting of the 25th.
I need to try to find that meeting because, but don't let me hold you up. I will, but I would need you to read the resolution because I know that, well, as a matter of fact, it's better than that. Delphine, if you could alert me when the vote comes up regarding.
Yes, I'll let you know.
All right.
Here.
Oh, no, I'm not ready. Thanks.
Hey.
I'm serious. I am. Thanks. Thanks so much.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
And a second.
Second.
Ms. Carnes?
Mr. Albert,
Aye.
Ms. Arrington. Aye. Mr. Gresham.
Aye.
Ms. Poirier.
Aye.
Mr. Benassi.
Aye.
Mr. Musacchio.
Aye. Thank you very much, Laura, and the whole group for putting all this together. And really appreciate all the work that different committees have done to make sure that we're solvent next year. Okay, then we'll go on to the next resolution, and I'll ask Mr. Jackson to talk to us about that one.
Good morning again, Commissioners. This is an item. Well, it's more of a procedural matter that I did bring up at our budget committee meeting, also at our budget workshop, and basically, it's in the budget we funded all of the positions, vacant positions. We defunded those in this current budget, but as a part of a procedural matter, what we did is they're really not knowing if these positions were going to be essential or be required throughout the year. What we did is we had set up a committee to review positions, defunded positions that staff or supervisors or managers felt like that they needed throughout the course of the year. But what we're trying to do is to maintain the business as is, while we're going through the process of having operational organizational review. So we're trying to keep the organization the way it is until we have the review, and then whatever the review says, and then we'll position ourselves accordingly. But we still want to be able to maintain our operations at the levels that we need to provide the services that we need to. So in funding these positions, we set up a mechanism where if we get a request for a position to be added back in, that we review the position, we go through the process of asking the requester to make sure that they've reviewed the process. If there's another way of getting the work done other than adding another person, and then if they can't do that, then we go through our review process, our team review, and then I would sign off on having that position filled. This process, instead of having to come back, since it's not in the budget, having to come back each time we go through that process, having to come back to the board, what I'm asking for is basically like an allowance. It's only like 25% of the funded positions. And that way, we don't, if we say, okay, this position is required, we don't have to wait and come back to the board to have the position required because the position funded. Because if it's a critical position, it could be a timing issue or something like that. So what this resolution does is just give me the authority to say, okay, we can add this position back on. We still report to the board that that's what we've done, but it's only up to a certain amount. And that's the amount is $530,000. That's just for the year. Like I said, it's just really for the purpose of just trying to keep the organization sort of like status quo until we have our organizational done, which we have started to receive some proposals, not proposals, but at least inquiries from firms to actually do that. Deadline is July 7th.
Ron, when do you expect to have the reports back, or whoever you select to do that, and then be able to kind of absorb all that in terms of, and then implementing whatever they recommend?
Well, I was talking with some staff members yesterday. We're just trying to get an estimate on the timing as far as, make July 7th is the deadline, have maybe about 30 days to review, have our team assembled, do the evaluations and things, and somewhere between 30 and 45 days afterwards, we make the selection. And after we've, figured out everything and them actually coming on and being able to interview, look at our processes and things like that, that we're probably looking at the first part of next year, where we actually have a product that we can sort of roll out in terms of what the assessment results are. So that's what we're looking at.
You can look at the resolution is on page 6. Give you an idea of how they're splitting the money up in the last paragraph. How much comes from reserves and how much comes from program revenue. So just take a moment to take a look at that, and then I'll entertain a motion. I guess I'll ask Laura, does this have any real impact on the overall budget, or is it just a step?
We'll know better in the fall. It's a step in the process. There are also some positions that are currently part of the hiring freeze that are budgeted because people have left in that interim. So we'll have a more clear picture when we look at everything in the fall.
Right now,
For right now, it shouldn't be.
Yes, sir.
I just have a comment before you call the vote, Don, if I might.
Please.
I just wanted to say, I think it's a great idea, Ron. I believe that one of the jobs that we have as a board, and this is just mine, is to not hamstring the executive director by making you feel like you need authorization just to, buy a box of ink pens. I know that's not the case. It's oversimplification of what the budget impact is, and I think we have to strike the balance about how do we maintain fair oversight and ensure that we don't get too deep down the road. letting somebody, but at the same time, not hamstringing our staff by compelling a vote every 15 minutes. And so that's just my belief. So I just think it's a great idea, but it's also
Okay. Other comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
so moved.
A second.
Aye.
Ms. Carnes?
Second.
Mr. Albert,
Aye.
Ms. Arrington, Mr. Gresham,
Aye.
Ms. Poirier, Mr. Benassi,
Aye.
Mr. Masaccio.
Aye. All right, thank you very much.
Consider that a vote of support. Thank you.
That's right.
The next item is for the multi-family housing revenue bonds, and I'll ask Mr. Hunter to come on up.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. First, I'd like to express my appreciation for your putting the public hearing on the agenda for today, because we're really trying to move this project forward more rapidly now. As you know, my name is Barry Hunter. I'm with Kaufman Knowles, and I represent Kojic Memorial Home for the Elderly, Inc., the applicant for the financing. They're requesting that you approve the request for, or the recommendation to the City Council for $14,500,000 in revenue bonds that will be used to acquire, renovate, and equip the Kojic high-rise apartments, which are located at 2412 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Since the public hearing last year, the renovation plans are now complete with some minor corrections that they're addressing with the city. We expect approximately, now it's gone up to about $48,000 per unit in renovations for this facility. They will be putting in new cabinets and appliances, getting a new roof for the facility, having some upgrades to the systems, and as well as some ADA enhancements. So the reason I'm here again is that the public approval that we obtained last year expires on July 9th. And so we have to, under TEFRA, get a renewal because the bonds can't be issued before then. We had anticipated the bonds being issued by July 9th, but the COVID pandemic slowed down the underwriting process with the lenders. And we have now the lenders in place for the PNC Bank for the tax credits, and we've got Cedar Rapids Bank and Trust to provide construction and permanent financing on the bond side. So with that, I'll open the floor to any questions that you might have.
Again, for the commissioners, the information is on pages 7 and 8, which go through much of what Mr. Hunter has said. Also, I will ask, is there anyone in the public, has anyone called in?
We have no callers, we have no online questions, and we have
Okay.
no public representation.
Right, then I guess I will call the,
No, I got a question.
go ahead.
Why, can anyone explain, Dick called this to my attention, why this got jumped $4 million, 40%?
I'm sorry?
I'm seeing something that this was originally forecast to be $10 million. And now it's $14 million.
Yeah.
Why is it such a large discrepancy?
If you will recall, last year when we had the public hearing, we increased it last year to $14.5 million.
Okay, I don't
So
know.
it's not an increase this year. There's no change this year. We have public approval for the $14.5 million.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Other questions or comments? Then, go ahead, Al.
Just, when the vote comes, I abstain. My wife's uncle is the president of that group. Not talking like Canelo, but the Koji group, Dr. Will Daniels.
Will Daniels.
Thank you. All right, other comments? I'll go ahead and, one thing, would you check and see in the hallway if anybody, I didn't know if anybody showed up in person, but we just want to check.
No one in the hallway.
All righty, then I'll go ahead and entertain a motion. A second?
Second.
Ms. Carnes?
Mr. Albert? You'll be using
Abstain.
yourself. Ms. Arrington?
Aye.
Mr. Gresham?
Aye.
Ms. Courier?
Aye.
Mr. Benassi?
Aye.
Mr. Misacchio?
Aye. Thank you very much, Ms. Hunter.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That is about it for this one. Any comments? Mr. Jackson, anything?
I don't have any comments.
Commissioner?
Commissioners have it.
And I will go ahead and call the meeting to adjourn. Thank you very much.